Hello and welcome to the Dyno Six Pack Dynasty Football Podcast. I'm joined by my buddy Mike Laplant today, and we're going to break down some dynasty trades. How are you doing today, Mike?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself, Jordan?
Oh man, I'm doing good. It's best time of the year. We just had like our first preseason game. In a couple of days, we're all going to be together in Ohio for the Expo, for the Fantasy Football Expo.
I know, I know.
Dude, I'm so pumped, man. Like it's going to be the first time I'm kind of getting to meet in person a lot of like you and Dylan, some other guys I've been doing some work with, just through video and stuff. So I'm excited to get together with like not only you guys but everybody else that's going to be there. So if you're there, definitely come say what's up. We're going to have a booth set up there.
A
Uh,
lot of cool people show up there. Just real quick, the first time I ever went there, I actually got to shake Mike Clay's hand. I was a little bit of a fanboy,
yeah,
not gonna
that
lie.
would be pretty sweet. Yeah.
But yeah, they usually have some sort of like special guests. So
Speaking of special guests, like my dog's name is literally Dez, and like Dez Bryant's gonna be there. Shit, like my one of my favorite players of like my lifetime is gonna be there this year. Like that's so crazy.
that's a fanboy moment for sure for
But
you.
dude, it's gonna be, yeah, I'm pretty excited. But like I know like unfortunately like a lot of you guys out there aren't gonna be able to make it to the expo. The next best thing you could do is become a member over at fantasy6pack.net, because then you get to hop into our Discord forum and you can DM us directly. So you won't get to hang out with us in person in Ohio, but it's like the next best thing. On top of like the Discord, you're also going to get like access to like all of our betting stuff. We have like award-winning rankings, like some of the most accurate fantasy baseball and football rankers and the Fantasy Pros contests each year. And what else? We just had like our football projections for the year go out.
Yeah.
Like what else? I mean, we got all sorts of stuff over there.
I mean, Joe was number 2 last year, for example. He's had like 3 or 4 top 5 finishes. Like, if you got a question, go annoy Joe. He loves it.
He's absolutely DMs, absolutely. And then to do that down here at the bottom, you kind of see it scrolling right now. Fantasy6pack.net/plans. Hop over there, become a member, and then like I said, you can hop in there. You can message us directly. Other thing before we get started here, make sure you hit like and subscribe so you can see more videos like this. We have a ton of stuff coming out, and the football season right around the corner. There's just gonna be more and more of it. But with all that said, man, you ready to talk about some dynasty trades?
You betcha. Let's jump into it.
All right, the first one we got here, and I'll kind of have it scrolling across the bottom. A lot of information, but you'll see it kind of go over and over. So that way, if you're following along at home, you kind of see like a little bit of like the league format, the scoring, and whatnot. But first one we got here is a 10-team Superflex league. It is full PPR, tight end premium. And we got Michael Pittman, and this is a trade where he's going for just draft picks. So we got a 2025 first, and then a second and third next year in 2024. On the Dynasty Nerds Trade Calculator, it comes out in the Michael Pittman side by quite a bit. And then on the DLF side, they kind of like the picks a little bit more. It's a little bit closer to Pittman just by a few points there, basically a wash on that side. Where do you come in on this one?
For me, man, first and foremost, like, the one thing I will say is when it comes to dynasty trades, it really does depend on like what you're looking to do that year. Are you rebuilding? Are you contending? Are you kind of like in the middle of the pack? Because, if you're in the middle of the pack and you don't know what to do, it's not good to contend if you really can't contend. So it's better to just, kind of tear it down, rebuild, and, go accumulate those picks. In a situation like this, this looks like it was a rebuilding team here, because they got all picks, first round draft pick for next year, second, third. I mean, for 2 years.
First is 2 years out, yep.
Yeah, but then second and third for next year. So, I mean, you're going to get young talent to bring in there, but rookie picks, in my opinion, are lottery tickets that you can miss on just as easy as you can hit on. So, like, the biggest thing here for me is Michael Pittman's a proven asset. He's 3 years into the league. Granted, it's a 10-team league, so you're going to have talent probably out on the waiver wire as well, or, just that's going to find themselves in there. I edge it out just slightly to Pittman, but like I said, if you're a rebuilding team, I mean, this is a win in their books until they actually make these draft picks, and then we'll see if it's an actual win in their books.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I can tell you plenty of times, like, I've gotten lucky. One draft I got Ramondre Stevenson when he came out in the late second round. So like you can get lucky in these things and you can hit, but you can miss them just as easy. But I edge it slightly to Pittman.
I will go with the Pittman side too. So put yourself in the shoes of like a rebuilding team right now. You're shipping off. I mean, is Pittman for like a first round pick that's 2 years out? Is that even really worth it? I almost feel like I'd rather just move it for like a 2024 first straight up and get rid of the second and third rounder.
It makes me wonder if the guy the team that traded Pittman away didn't have a first round pick, maybe.
Probably.
And they were just like, you know what? Hey, I need to get a first round pick because obviously I need one. I'm rebuilding type of deal. Maybe he had an accumulation of wide receivers. Pittman was just like, yeah, you know what? It was something he could ship away for pennies on the dollar, in a sense. But as a rebuilding team, I do here's the thing. If you're rebuilding, Michael Pittman is not even going to help you that much this year because you got a rookie quarterback. Rookie quarterbacks don't produce wide receiver ones. It's not even often they produce wide receiver twos.
I think your best case is wide receiver 2 probably this year.
Yeah, so that's a ceiling right now. So to get a wide receiver 2 this year for a future first, a second, and a third, that's good in the eyes of a rebuilding team. But I also look at it as like, you know what? I would just rather have somebody that's going to contribute for me this year.
I mean, and then you hope your picks turn into players like Pittman. I mean,
2
years out, who knows where that first rounder could be, like the 12th pick in the first round. At that point, you're probably not even getting a player that you're hoping turns into like a Michael Pittman level player.
It's really like it is really just lottery picks. You're kind of just betting that they're going to fail, which is it's possible. I mean, it's very possible. Injuries happen. I mean, just as easily, Michael Pittman could, and I don't wish this upon anybody. Michael Pittman could, go down with an ACL injury in preseason game 1. You know what I mean? So, and all of a sudden, it looks like a complete, just trade rate essentially. But time will tell who wins this trade. But if you're going to tell me who won it, ask me who won it right now, it's the Pittman side, just because he's going to contribute this year. He's going to contribute next year, probably more points than the second and third round selection that he's going to get. But then when the first round pick gets in there, that's when it's like, all right, you know what? If that turns into an early first rounder, that could be a quarterback. The next, maybe the next Bijan Robinson comes out in 2 years. You never know.
Yeah. See, I'm with you there. I'm more on the Pittman side here. Like I said, I think I would rather almost try and go for a 2024 first and maybe get a young guy like thrown in there with it. Like, I don't know, can you get like a Romeo Dobbs, someone like that could maybe be a deep sleeper?
Yeah, instead of like a third round pick.
I think I would rather try and go that route with it versus the second and third.
Yes.
So keeping on that note there, the next trade we got here, we're going to keep Michael Pittman and then that 2024 first, like I just mentioned there. So it's going to be Pittman for Aaron Rodgers, a 2024 first and a 2024 second. Super flex league here, 12 teams instead of 10, but otherwise the same PPR, tight end premium. What side you got here?
Seems like Michael Pittman's a hot commodity to be trading right now.
It was weird that I had 2 or 3 of them, just like the last 2 or I think it's over all these trades were in the last like 2.5 weeks or so that I pulled from the.
That's funny. I mean, there must be some sort of article out there that some fantasy football website wrote about, like, all right, go acquire Michael Pittman on the, buy the dip right now. But this one, I actually like you made a great point about, like, if you would have thrown Romeo Dobbs into the last trade, it's like I would have edged that trade out a little bit more to the pick side. Just like I edged this trade out more to the pick side. I know Aaron Rodgers is 39 years old. He's on a 2-year contract, though. If the Jets do well this year, he very well could opt into that second year. And let's be honest, any quarterbacks in a super flex league, even if it's for 1 to 2 years, are valuable.
What if I tell you that Rodgers has basically the same year as last year? He's a quarterback 2. He's not that quarterback 1 we've seen in the last 20.
Very possible.
He's a solid quarterback 2. Does that change your opinion on this at all? Or are you still
it's very possible that could happen because the Jets have a great defense. Great defense. Aaron Rodgers may not have to play at an MVP level to get them to where they need to be. And it's very possible he could be a QB too. But that's what I mean though, is like, because it's super flex, QB2s just inherently get a spiked value. All right. And you get, like you have your QB2s, like a Brock Purdy, or Trey Lance, that type of deal, who have great weapons. And it's just like, all right, I don't like the quarterback maybe, but this guy has just have so much talent around him. It's going to be impossible for him not to get, points on a consistent basis. That's kind of how I see Aaron Rodgers right now. Like, even if he does play as a quarterback too, and maybe it's not up to par like we've seen him play in an MVP year, he's got Garrett Wilson. I mean, I still believe in Corey Davis. I believe in him just if he's like the third option. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They got Ruckert. I like Ruckert out of Ohio State. They still got Conklin. You're going to have Breece Hall coming off the injury. He'll be a little slow. There's the rumblings of Dalvin Cook.
Lazard there too.
Allen Lazard. I keep forgetting about him. You got Randall
Hardman.
Cobb a little bit. Mecole Hardman too. So like the weapons are just like at a surplus for Aaron Rodgers to where I feel like even if he is a quarterback too, I think he's not going to be a bottom end QB2, more mid and possibly top end QB2. He's not going to be a QB1 though, in my opinion though, because I think the Jets defense is just too good. And he's not going to be getting, 4,000 plus yards and 40 plus touchdowns. It's just not going to be needed.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm going to also take the Rodgers side on this one. The super flex, it swings it. And I mean, when you're talking about Pittman, like we mentioned,
it does.
Before, you're not talking about like your high end wide receiver ones, like your Garrett Wilson, your Chris Olave's. Like this is a step down below that. So
a DK Metcalf, even like,
yeah, I mean, it's not that level of receiver. So I think I'll take the quarterback, even if it's just for a year.
And you get a first round pick too.
You get the first and second. Like I'll take that side pretty easily for me on that one.
I get it though. If you're a win now team too, or like maybe even, I think it's probably more like what team do you think is the win now team here?
If I remember, I think both these teams are actually win now teams, and the one.
So then that's ideal. That's a win I think on both sides, honestly, because one team gets the second quarterback and the other one probably fills a wide receiver 3 spot or at least a flex spot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, that makes it a little bit more fair in my eyes. But if you look at it from the dynasty perspective, like down the line, I mean, you are getting a quarterback for at least 1 year, possibly 2. And that first and second round pick just kind of push it over the top.
Yep. No arguments here. I'll take that side as well. All right, moving on to our next one here. So this one was kind of an interesting one. So this trade happened while we were on the clock during the rookie draft. And then the news had just came out about a gambling suspension for prior to that. So kind of a perfect storm of things for this one, I believe. But the trade we had on this one, 12-team super flex, we had Jameson Williams straight up for the 109 this year. And then kind of adding on to that, assuming rookie drafts already passed this year, would you take a 2024 first and a supposedly stronger rookie class next year for Garrett Wilson, for Jameson Williams?
So here's the thing. I love it. We were talking about this before the show. But, trade picks, rookie picks inherently, it's like the stock market, honestly. It's like throughout the time of year, it's going to depend on their value. Like perfect, background to this trade. Like you said, right on the clock, this trade went in because the gambling news came in. Like rookie picks are never going to be as valuable until you're on the clock or like even like a couple days leading up to the draft. They're going to be the most valuable possible. And this is a perfect example of it. Because Jameson Williams was a 12th overall pick for the Lions. Like coming off an ACL injury, he was still a 12th overall pick. The Lions have a plan here for him. All right. So I kind of look at this trade a little bit like a wash because of the news of the gambling.
Sure.
Like, because if you're a win now team, Jameson Williams is suspended 6 games. And it might take him a couple games to get integrated back into the offense after that suspension comes through. So he may not do you too much this year, but so on and so forth. After that, he's going to be phenomenal. And you got the 109 this year, which I'm sure is probably going to contribute possibly more points than Williams.
I could have remembered. I should have written down who he ended up taking with the pick. That would have been
that would
professional podcast.
I feel like it's like that, like Quentin Johnson, Dalton Kincaid,
like Zay
type
Flowers,
of range. He's at Zay Flowers range, maybe even Zach
Charbonnet. Charbs, yeah.
So like most likely one of those players is going to score more than Jameson Williams this year because of the 6-game suspension. So like I look at it as a wash, but at the same time, I guess I lean the 109 pick, just because of the expectation they're going to play all season. You know what I mean? Like it may take them a couple games to get going, like every rookie will.
Sure.
So I lean that slightly. Now for your next question about the 2024 first, I kind of almost want to because of the 6-game suspension, but at the same time, we know Jameson Williams is only 22 years old. Like, if you're going to sell on him, you should be selling on him for something you're going to acquire now, right now this season, like that 2023 pick.
Mm-hmm.
So I would edge out Williams in that situation for the
What if
2024
it's
first?
24 first and second? Is that enough to switch it? Or is it still Williams at that point?
What's this team looking like that I'm getting these picks from?
Right in the middle, we'll say.
Right in the middle. Right in the middle. I will take it then. I will take it with the extra picks then in that situation, because then you're getting two players essentially for one, where this is a 1-for-1 swap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For me on this one, I'm taking the 109. I'll take Zay Flowers over like Jameson Williams straight up. So pretty easy for me. I'll go 109 here. 2024 first. I will take it, but I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to ask for a second as well.
But if you didn't get that, like just the 2024 first though, like would you do that?
Yeah, I think unless it was like one of those where I'm like, I think this team's going to be in the championship next year. Like I'm probably going to take that. Yeah. Like
so the middle of the pack.
I was a little lower on Williams coming in. And then, like, of course, like not victory lapping after like an injury and suspension. Like, it's just been a weird start to his career. There's not a lot of guys that have had a start like that have turned around and had really long, successful careers. Like, granted, not a lot of guys that talented have had that type of start to their career as well. So yeah, I'll take the picks on this one. I'm okay kind of hitting the reset button. Like, it's one of those where it's like, even if he comes in, like, is he going to take over Amon-Ra St. Brown? Like, what is his ceiling? Is he going to be able to get Michael Pittman even? Can he get to that?
I do agree with that, but I mean, there are, with the way the league has transitioned more to a passing league now, there are so many 2 wide receiver combos. You got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, T. Higgins, AJ Brown, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill. So like, it's very possible for an Amon-Ra St. Brown and a Jameson Williams combo to thrive in the NFL nowadays.
Sure, that's true.
It is possible, but at the same time, you look at Amon-Ra as the PPR guy and Jameson Williams as the explosive guy. So it's going to be more of like, all right, you put him in for the week and it's like you're praying he hits big. Otherwise, he's only getting you 5 points on the week, maybe, because it's only 3 catches for 40 yards or you know what I mean?
No, I hear you there. All right. Let's move on to the next one here. So we're going to go a little bit higher level receiver than Jameson Williams on this one for both guys.
This one's fun.
Here. This is a good one right here. And this is actually one that I was involved in. And I don't think I've told you which side I was on this one yet.
You were involved in this one?
I was involved in this one. This is
the
first one of the trades we've talked that I've actually was in on this one. 12-team Superflex. This one is just half PPR. But we got Tyreek Hill going for Terry McLaurin in the 2024 first. What side you got here?
I did not know that this one was actually you were involved with, so that's kind of awesome.
Two other ones after this one, but yeah, this is one of them.
Like, I look at this one, and this is like, out of all 10 trades you sent me, this is probably one of the most even, and it's one of the most simplest ones because we got a 4-for-4 coming up.
Both the calculators show that it was like 4,600 to 4,100 on one side, and then 504 to 502 on the other. So like it's right in that exact range on both sides.
I just think like this is such an even trade, and it's like, excuse me, I feel like it's like go and get your guy. This was a go and get your guy trade. If I had to give up a first-round pick to acquire Tyreek Hill, who's in the first tier of wide receivers this year at a redraft perspective, he's with Cooper Kupp, he's with Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and it's Tyreek Hill as the wide receiver 4. So you're getting the wide receiver 4, a top 5 wide receiver this year, and then I'll be honest with you, I'm a little bit higher on Terry McLaurin this year from a redraft perspective as well.
Terry, yeah.
And he's still younger. He's only 27.
Like 26, 27, something like that.
Yeah. So he's got Sam Howell, and there's a lot of hype out of training camp from Sam Howell. Like, I don't sleep on Sam Howell. I'm not going to say he's the next greatest thing, but just don't sleep on him because he's got Eric Bieniemy. I trust Eric Bieniemy. Like, you saw when Matt Nagy left that system, I thought they were actually going to, take a step back for the Chiefs, and they actually took a step forward because of Bieniemy. So like, I'm more worried about like the Chiefs this year because they don't have Bieniemy and it's just Nagy left there.
Yeah.
But I think the Commanders have a diamond in the rough with a coach like Bieniemy there. And I think, Ron Rivera's days are short-lived. And I think they brought Bieniemy in there to kind of like vet him for the head coaching job next year.
Yeah, I could see that.
And like, if he can just make Howell just a serviceable quarterback, he's going to look at him as like that Alex Smith of that offense who has a little bit more athleticism.
Yeah.
So, like, this is just it's a straight wash for me. But if I had to put a gun to my head, I lean the McLaurin side because you're getting a 2 for 1. You know what I mean? You're going to get a second player. You're going to get another 3 to 5 years of Terry McLaurin. Hopefully, Godspeed, no injuries.
Sure.
And Tyreek Hill's going to be phenomenal this year, but he's only one player. Where like this fills 2, starting spots for you in the coming years. You know what I mean? Not just this year. So it's, if I had to, choose, I like that just because you get the draft pick plus Terry McLaurin, which is a possible wide receiver 1 this year, maybe. Like, I wouldn't be shocked.
I can see that.
How about you?
So
How about you? I'm curious.
I took the Tyreek side on this one.
Shocker.
I flipped McLaurin in the first for Tyreek on this one.
I love it for both of you guys though, because Tyreek Hill he's going to be a top 5 wide receiver. It's just I like the fact of you're essentially getting 2 players for 1. Right. You know what I mean? Like, so even if you do win the championship, which you very well could be winning it with Tyreek Hill, like that's still a 112 pick where you're going to get possibly a future starter that you can play alongside Terry McLaurin. That's why I look at the combination of the 2 players' points together will be more than just Tyreek Hill. You know what? That's why I look at it like that. Yeah. But I love getting Tyreek Hill, dude. He's going to, if Tua stays healthy, that offense is unstoppable.
I'm in too many leagues to say for sure, but I'm pretty sure this league I have Mahomes in, so it's kind of one of those.
Oh my gosh!
Now to like let's just.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, that's a good trade for you. That's a win.
100%, but I'm pretty sure that league that's the league on that one of like the 20.
I mean, and even if you didn't have a wide receiver 1, bam, you got a wide receiver 1 now, and if you had one before, it's like you got 2 wide receiver 1s.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'll go the Tyreek side on that one, but one of the closest trades I think we'll talk about today.
It is.
Yeah. All right. So moving on here. So we're going to get into a little bit of the deeper leagues here for the rest of the way here. So 16-team Superflex, sticking with a half PPR on this one, and it is tight end premium. So for this particular league, it's an extra half point per reception and for first down. So basically every first round catch is an extra point for the tight end.
It threw me off because I when I was going through it, I skimmed through the tight end premium quick on this. I was like, holy shit, Brandon Ayuk for Dallas Goedert. I was like, what the hell? And then I was like, oh, tight end premium. That makes sense.
Yeah. So extra so Ayuk straight up for Goddard. Nerds have it as essentially an even. I mean, both sides basically have it in like the accept range. It's pretty even here. So tight end premium, extra half point for reception and for first down for tight ends here. Which side you got?
I'm always, the thing is I don't play in a lot of tight end premium leagues. I know you're in the league this year, the Scott Fishbowl tight end premium. So like that's pretty much one of the only ones I really play in. But those tight end guys like even like an Evan Ingram, a David Njoku, a Dalton Schultz, like that range is a perfect flex play in those type of leagues because of the tight end premium. Exactly. Like they're going to be scoring as much as like maybe a wide receiver.
Those guys that are 4 to 7 catches at the tight end, like that's money.
That is money right there. Now you're getting somebody like Dallas Goedert, who's going to be most likely a top 5 tight end. Maybe it
every
depends
week
on
he's healthy per game.
If Kyle Pitts can get his, if Kyle Pitts and Arthur Smith can get their shit together, then it would probably push Dallas Goedert out of the top 5 for me. If they can get that, but he's still 6 at that point in a tight end premium league. Because if it wasn't tight end premium, like there is such a disparity from a tight end 6'5" to Kelce, Andrews. There's such a disparity, but with the tight end premium, it closes the gaps a little bit, and I edge it out actually to Dallas Goedert in this one. I do like Brandon Ayuk being the younger guy for the dynasty aspect side of it. Like I can see them being as more like whoever acquired Ayuk is the one who's rebuilding a little bit more. Where I think Dallas Goedert's this side who's going for it all. You know what I mean? Trying to get either a tight end 1 or just a backup. I lean Goedert just slightly because of the tight end premium, and I don't like just Ayuk. There's so many weapons to go around. You got CMC, you got Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, even Elijah Mitchell. They're going to feed some of the rock to him a little bit. So like Brandon Ayuk's just not going to be consistent in my book, where I think Dallas Goedert in a tight end premium league, 16 team is going to be more consistent on a yearly basis. It's just how many years are you going to get out of Goddard? That's the one thing that concerns me.
Yeah. So me on this one, I'm going to go the opposite way. I'll go Ayuk on this one.
I kind of figured you would.
I can see the Goddard side. I mean, absolutely. I mean, especially the 16 team, the tight end premium. Like those are the leagues where like when you have like
people, you're looking for a heartbeat to throw on your flex.
And when you have one of those, if you're in the league like that and you have like the 15th tight end that week, like you are at a huge disadvantage from the guys that have like the Kelce and the Goddards. That being said, though, I'm gonna go with the younger wide receiver here. I think I might be in the minority in this, but I think Brandon Ayuk's better than Deebo. So I think like the wide receiver 15, 16 finish.
He's getting a lot of hype this year,
that's kind of his floor moving forward. I'm not even a huge Purdy guy, but I don't think he needs more than 3, 4, or 5 catches a week to have 1 or 2 long ass runs. You know, after the catch, he's awesome with the ball in his hands. Both Ayuk.
That's the whole offense too.
And so, like, I don't know, man. I'm a big Ayuk guy, so I'm gonna go that way, but I can't fault anyone that goes the opposite way there. The other thing that kind of has me leaning the Ayuk side there is where like I think he's the guy on that team that's going to take another step forward this year. We're like on the
Eagles.
You
think he's the number one? Like,
I think he's
receiving
the number one
option.
Number one,
not number one option.
And
over CMC.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, CMC the number one overall option, number one passing game option for receivers. I'll go Ayuk. And like he's the one that I see taking another step forward out of like the pass catching group. Whereas like in Philadelphia, I think that's going to be Devonta Smith taking another step forward this year.
Big time. I agree with you on that. I just like here's my biggest thing is like Dallas Goedert, in my opinion, is a red zone threat. You know what I mean? To where you know what I mean for Jalen Hurts, like that offense is going to be in the red zone. So like Dallas Goedert any year is going to have 10+ touchdown potential, which. Stack that with a tight end premium, you're gonna get maybe like 60 to 75 catches. That's in a 16 teamer, man, that could be like that could honestly be what could make or break you. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying is because like you could put Dallas Goedert in the flex and he's probably going to score more points on a consistent basis
when he's healthy, probably
when healthy. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing is health is always an option here. But I also get it what you mean because, I mean, you're getting an extra just 3 years right off the bat because Dallas Goedert's 28, Ayuk's 25. From a dynasty perspective, Ayuk is definitely going to provide more serviceable years than Goedert.
Yep, I would agree with that. All right, this next trade here, this is a bit of a doozy. So when you go to read on this one, it's a lot here. So what we got here, it's 16 team, half PPR. Tight end premium. So where this one gets a little bit tricky here is neither of the trade calculators we use will do IDP, and this league happens to be like high scoring IDP. So for reference, Myles Garrett last year scored about 299 points in this league.
That is high scoring.
So like he was like around like the 30th highest like flex scoring. So remove quarterbacks, just like running back, receiver, tight ends. He was around number 30 overall. So like he's like an elite asset in this type of scoring format. On the other side, you have Christian Wilkins, who had 214 last year. So just kind of keep that in mind. And so the trade calculator scores, that's just factoring on the offensive side.
And they just, I'll put it in here real quick. They're the same age, both 27.
Exactly. So that basically it's just you're taking about 70 to 80 extra points a year, assuming things stay how it is with Garrett there. But this whole trade here. All right. So we got this one here. So we got Travis Kelce, Devontae Adams, Alexander Madison, and Christian Wilkins, who scored 214 points. I want to say it was like around like the 50 to 100 it's flex, like kind of in that like back end range right there for offensive players. On the other side, we got Drake London, Myles Garrett, who had 299 last year, Aaron Jones, and then Dallas Goedert. On the nerd score here, like I said, you can kind of see the disparity here, but that is just factoring the offensive side. So the big gap we kind of made up in that Christian Wilkins to Myles Garrett gap there. So that being said, what side you got here?
So I try to be a win now dynasty team for the most part, add some youth in there, mix a little bit. So like naturally I want to say the Kelce side because you look at it, you're getting the best player in the trade, in my opinion, with Kelce being tight end premium. You know what I mean? Like, dude is just a monster.
Points in that format.
Exactly. Like, so you're getting the best player overall. So I lean slightly just right off the gun that side. Plus, you're getting Devontae Adams, who's going to be a top 12 wide receiver easily.
You think this year too, even with Jimmy? I hope
I
so.
really do.
Yeah.
I really do. Because like you look at Jimmy when he was with the Niners, like he was not good throwing deep. So like Devontae Adams is probably not going to have a very good A dot, but God, he's going to get peppered in targets.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the thing. He's going to get like a Michael Thomas type of year when he's. I wouldn't be shocked if
Plant God, baby.
Yeah, exactly. I would not be shocked if they are, predicting Devontae Adams to like be on pace to break Michael Thomas's reception record, with just how much targets I think he will get peppered with, because it's him and Josh Jacobs. Yeah, like, who else are they gonna really? I mean, you got Hunter Renfrow and Jacoby Myers.
Yeah,
but they're both slot guys. You know what I mean? If Jimmy's not going to throw deep, your slot's going to be running the slant with Devontae Adams, and who would you rather throw to? The slot receiver or Devontae Adams running the slant?
Especially now that Waller's gone too. I mean, yeah.
Yes. So like I edge that side, but I take redraft out of, got to take redraft out of my mind and look at it from a dynasty perspective. And you're getting the same age defender.
Yep.
And you're getting younger
on the Garrett side. Yeah.
Yes, and you're getting younger because Dallas Goedert's 28, Drake London is 22, Aaron Jones is 28 too, where Kelce's 33, Devontae Adams is 30, Alexander Mattison is 25.
He's like a young 25 though. Like he has not a lot of tread on the tires, I feel like.
This is true, but like I can't the Ringer Fantasy Football Podcast, I think, is the one they got this stat, but I don't think in like 400 plus carries he has a carry over 20 plus yards, so he's not very explosive. No. But yes, like not very much tread on the tires. I get that. So like if I look at it from a dynasty perspective, I definitely want the Myles Garrett side. And I still think Aaron Jones is going to supply you better points than Alexander Mattison this year. Drake London is going to be serviceable. Dallas Goedert, again, in the tight end premium, being 16 team, is going to be a great flex play, if not your tight end one. Mm-hmm. So, like, off the rip, just don't even think about it, which is my redraft mind. I'm going to go the Travis Kelce side, but it's a straight, clear win for Dynasty for the Myles Garrett side.
Nice. Okay.
So, like, it's I know it's kind of like a split answer, which is a little cheap. I get that.
So, I mean... Yeah.
But you have two different sides of a trade here. It's clear whoever's getting Kelce, Adams, and all them, they're trying to win right now.
Yeah.
They're clearly trying to win right now, and the other team is trying to get younger, but at the same time, they still got players that are going to help them be good this year. Mm-hmm. That's where it's like, man, that's why it's a two-split answer, because both teams are winners, in my opinion, in this trade.
So this was another one of the trades that I was involved in here. And so I was on the Kelce side. So I took the Kelce side and we went back and forth for days. I was trying to drop the Madison and Aaron Jones swap. I was good with the other 3 for 3, but he would not budge on that. And I was like, man, I really want to get Kelce for a push run this year. This team, I got 3rd place last year.
This could definitely help you.
I don't know if I'm the best team still. Like there's the team that won last year is pretty stacked, but like I like to get Kelce and then a year of Adams. I almost turned it down when the Aaron Jones and Alex and Madison there. I was okay giving up Myles Garrett for Wilkins on that one, but then when that part got in there, I had a little bit of pause. I think Aaron Jones has another year or two of big production as well.
He does.
But ultimately, man, I ended up pulling the trigger on the Kelce Devontae Adams side.
I get it. I mean, Here's the thing: you didn't give up any draft picks, though. You know what I mean? So you can still get younger.
And Drake London, that one gave up. That one hurt to give up.
I bet that one ripped a little bit of your heart out.
Stung a little bit, yeah, because I think he's going to have a huge year this season.
Dude, he's a big target. I think Desmond Ridder can get him the ball. I just don't, he's not going to have a 100 reception season, but goddamn, I think he can have a 70 reception season for 1,400 yards.
Yeah.
He's a big play guy.
Yeah. But yeah, so on that one, I'll take the Kelce side just barely, but I had a lot of heartburn about it. And then the Aaron Jones and the Madison, that's where
this is definitely a thinker. This is one where you're almost reconstructing your roster essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you have to do a lot of thinking about this one. And I get it. You don't want to give up Aaron Jones. You're still going to get for winning this year, Alexander Madison, I still think is going to be a solid RB2, which I assume you got an RB1,
I think I'm rocking Alexander Madison, Antonio Gibson combo for that one this year.
So that's going to be a little tougher.
But that league, we got Kelce, Adams, Michael Pittman, DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Adams now. So like
Yeah,
I got enough to get by if I stay healthy, but the margin of error is a little bit thin there.
Yeah, you're gonna have to stay healthy with Gibson and Madison, but if you can have RB2s with those receiver production being healthy as well, you could win it.
The other thing on this where I feel like the tight end premium, where I feel like gave me another little bit of pause too. I feel like normally getting Kelce in a league like that's like a no-brainer, but like Dallas Goedert's not that bad. So like I don't feel like the jump from like, you know, if I had a Tyler Higbee to go to Travis Kelce, that'd be like a no-brainer. But like the Goddard, Kelce jump, it's a big jump, but it's not as big as like your average tight end. Like once you pretty much get past like Dallas Goedert down, at that point then it's a huge upgrade. Where this one you're going from, you know, you're getting the elite of the elite at the tight end position, but you're jumping from tier 3 instead of like a tier 5 or 6 tight end, like a lot of the teams in a 16-team are.
Yeah, like if you didn't trade Dallas Goedert, like I don't think he would have agreed trading away Adams. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that one helped get Adams. There is with that one because you are getting a tier 2 tight end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In a tight end premium league. So like you said, it's not like those guys like a Dulcich, you know what I mean? Where it's going to be very inconsistent from week to week.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. All right, let's move on to the next one here. So keeping the same setup here, 16-team Superflex half PPR. We got Russell Wilson and Adam Thielen for Ryan Tannehill, DeAndre Hopkins, and a 24 third. Which side you got here?
Man, I'm a big believer in Russell Wilson this year just because of Sean Payton and just like where he's going in like drafts this year. But again, Dynasty, Russell Wilson's 34. Adam Thielen's 32. Now you're not getting much younger because the youngest player in this trade is DeAndre Hopkins at 31.
Yep.
Tannehill's 35.
Year-old, I will say he is nice and young.
But you are getting the connection.
Yeah.
You're getting the connection with Tannehill and Hopkins. And you're getting a third-round pick, which is kind of just like a cherry on the top. You know what I mean? So I do lean the Hopkins side here because I don't think Adam Thielen has 3 more years left in him. I don't know if Russell Wilson has 3 more years left in him. If Sean Payton can turn him around, he does. Tannehill obviously doesn't, but Hopkins, I think, can give you another 3 more years. Plus, you get the third-round pick, like I said, the little cherry on top that I think is what actually made this trade go through. You know what I mean? They probably both came at it with Russell Wilson, Thielen, and Tannehill and Hopkins, and you're like, you know what? Give me the third-round pick, and we'll call it a deal.
Yeah.
So
it's funny you say that. So this is the last trade I was involved in on this one.
Okay.
And that's pretty much close to how it went down. I have been trying to freaking get rid of Ryan Tannehill for like 2 years in this league now. And so like all it took was him finally getting fucking DeAndre Hopkins for someone to take him off my hands. It's like I sent the trade out, Thielen and Russ for those 2.
You got lucky because you had Hopkins.
He countered back with the third, and it was right when the news hit. So of course everyone's like, "Oh shit, Tennessee, they got Hopkins." Immediately sent both of them away, and like when they countered back with the third, I was just like, "Yes, like just to get this guy off my roster, like for like a quarterback, I think could have a bounce back year." Like, yes, like slam accept, give me the rest side on that one. Just because, man, like honestly, just fuck the Titans. Like that's just my fantasy on that one.
I agree.
Honestly, I'm kind of good with it on that. Like I'm good just fading that whole offense outside of Derrick Henry.
That's true. Outside of Derrick Henry, I get that. And like I mean, if you're looking at Dynasty, like you want Treylon Burks on that offense, you know what I mean? Yeah. Not Hopkins. I mean, well, like because he's the youngest, you know what I mean? Like if you were gonna go for the Dynasty trade for this, you should have been going and getting Will Levis and Treylon Burks. Yeah. You know what I mean? Instead of Tannehill and Hopkins. So I feel like, you know, it's a win in both books because like you said, you've been trying to get rid of Tannehill forever.
Yeah. It's been 2 full years now. Yeah.
That's super funny. But like you got the best player in this trade who's going to score the most points, in my opinion, is Russell Wilson.
Hopefully.
You know what I mean? So like you got the best player in the draft, but the problem is you gave away the youngest player in the draft and a possible, well, not possible, but another younger player with the pick.
Right.
Even though it's only a 3rd-round pick. I mean, hell, I got Romeo Doubs in the 3rd round of one of my drafts.
Right. And so this is a 16-teamer, and it's IDP as well. So push some of the 2nd-round talent into round 3 too. So you can kind of think of it as like a late second in a lot of leagues.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, but that's funny. I like it. I was like, because I was like, that third round pick was probably that cherry on top that I was like, all right,
And
just fucking
when they countered back with that, I was just like, all right, like I'm good with that. Like,
fuck it, I don't care, just send it.
get rid of this fucking guy. All right, let's move
That's
on
funny.
here. Honestly, I mean, that's how it goes sometimes. It's just like
It is.
Get this guy off my team.
That's
like,
what I love
can't
about
stand
Dynasty,
this
though,
guy.
is because it adds another asset you can trade along with the players to just go like, and that's what I like how you can trade like fab money too as well. It's just like another cherry, another caveat you can add in on the trade to just go, all right, well, fuck it.
Yeah, exactly, and that's pretty much how it went down. And I got rid of Tannehill, so happy right here.
That's a win in your books.
Absolutely. Anytime you can get rid of him. All right, moving on here. So trade number 8 out of 10 we'll talk about today here. And this one was a bit of a head scratcher for me, so I'm intrigued to get your thoughts on this one. So we had James Conner and a third rounder next year for Miles Sanders. Which side you got there?
The next one's a head scratcher for me.
Okay.
But my thoughts on this one is the guy who's getting James Conner he's getting his guy. I think he might be a Cardinals fan, maybe. All right, because obviously, I mean, you're giving away Miles Sanders, who was an RB2 last year, but also James Conner has been an RB1 in years past. It's just his best years are behind him.
I mean, per game, he was probably a late RB1 last year, maybe early RB2.
Per game, yeah. You get the third round pick with James Conner, so it is a little bit like, all right, I get Conner for maybe 2-3 years, and then I can just reload with another guy with that third round pick possibly. But the clear winner in this one, in my opinion, is Miles Sanders' side, because you are getting a guy that I still think is going to give you probably another 5 years. He's playing with the number 1 overall pick in Bryce Young. So they just got Frank Reich, great offensive mind. So I think there's a lot of, and I mean, let's be honest, it's oh man, what's his goddamn name? Chuba Hubbard's behind him. It's not like Chuba Hubbard's not, he's not doing very much. They haven't signed anybody behind Miles Sanders to really be kind of any competition.
They really haven't, no.
So like Miles Sanders has the opportunity here, if they're going to run a balanced offense with a rookie quarterback, which is probably what you should do. He's got an opportunity for 300 plus touches here.
Yeah.
Multiple years. You know what I mean? With the contract they gave him, because how running backs are looked at in the league now. But I do like James Conner this year specifically. You know what I mean? I think easily James Conner scores more points than Miles Sanders just this year. After that, Miles Sanders takes off, though, from James Conner.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Just because James Conner this year, they don't have anybody besides Marquise Brown, Rondell Moore, and James Conner. You're going to have Colt McCoy and possibly your boy Clayton Tune running the show.
Sure.
All right, and Clayton Tune, if he's a smart quarterback, he's going to check down to James Conner. So there's a potential.
Oh no,
here.
that dude's going to gun it out, man. Trust me. If he's in there, that ball is going to be vertical.
You think so? Okay,
like if he plays any way like he did in college, yeah, it's going to be like play action and deep throws.
Gotcha. I just don't know if they have enough time to run those plays because the O-line is just brutal in Arizona. Mm-hmm. But I think the clear winner dynasty is definitely Miles Sanders. But I do like the guy who went and got James Conner, because if he is a win now team, this is going to help him win now. But if he's the middle of the pack team, this is a bad trade for him.
Yeah, I'm strong on the Miles Sanders side here. Like, I'll definitely take that, honestly. Like, I'm trying to imagine myself in a dynasty with Miles Sanders. Like, if I'm going to put him on the block, like if someone's like, I'll give you Conner in a third, I'm like, hell no. Like,
you should probably got a second.
What are you talking about?
You should have probably got a second instead of the third at the very least.
I don't know, man. I feel like I'd be aiming way higher if I saw Sanders. And like, for some reference here, this is even coming from a guy that like in like the friends group chat, like the one thing has been constant like the last 2 years is me bitching about the Eagles not using Miles Sanders consistently in my fantasy teams. Just like, this dude's so good, just give him the ball 20 times a game, and they just wouldn't. And even with that, 2 years of fantasy heartbreak, I'll still take the Miles Sanders side.
But that's the thing also, like, we haven't seen him with a complete full 3-down back workload.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, with the miles he has accrued, can he take that? That's my one little, like, red flag I think about, you know what I mean? Just playing devil's advocate, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if he does get, like, 350-plus touches, most running backs do not play a full 17-game season, let alone a 16-game season when it was only 16 games. So that's my kind of one concern is, can he pull a full, 14 to 15, 16 game season with that workload?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I'm just thinking, and I guess like really kind of talking this out loud, and maybe a flawed process, but like I'm hoping that like having a new young quarterback in there, I mean they're going to be like heavy on leaning on the run game. But then thinking back, I'm like, well, they just had Jalen.
Bryce Young did check it down to Jahmyr Gibbs a lot.
Yeah, and so that's the one thing is he checked it down more with Jalen Hurts, like a lot of the shorter stuff he'll run himself. But like I guess thinking about like that, like a young quarterback that was an improving passer, they should have probably leaned on Miles Sanders more. So I could be getting burned on this one again, year 3 in a row. But you know what, I'm ready to get hurt again. Give me Miles Sanders.
Well, Bryce Young, isn't going to be running like Jalen Hurts. He doesn't have the body structure to be doing that.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go Miles Sanders here pretty easily on this one. But I guess I'm surprised you're going the Connor side. I thought this one was a pretty slam dunk side on this one.
I do like James Conner from a redraft perspective. That's why it's like him. I do think he'll score just an asinine amount of points because of volume alone this year, just like Miles Sanders is going to have for probably the next 4 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough. Let's move to the next one. This is the one that you said kind of a head scratcher, which is funny because for me, this one I kind of had to do a little thought on here. So 16 teams.
I know why though, because you're an Ayuk guy. That's why.
Well, yeah, and exactly. So that plays into it, and then I'm also an Amari fan. I think he's one of the best route runners in the game. But anyway, so 16 team here, PPR. We got Debo and a 2025 third for Amari Cooper. Which side you got here? I'm pretty sure I know which side you're taking, but what side you got here?
I do like Amari Cooper, don't get me wrong, but I like Deebo Samuel more because he's younger. He's 27 compared to Amari's 29. And they manufacture touches in the offense for the 49ers for Deebo Samuel instead of just throwing him the ball. Like, even with CMC there, I understand they got CMC so they didn't have to run Deebo Samuel as much, but it's just that's Kyle Shanahan's offense. It's get the playmakers the ball in space and let them do their thing. Mm-hmm. So they're going to manufacture a couple of rushing attempts probably a game for Deebo Samuel. So that's why it's like I lean Deebo Samuel's side because of that. I think Deebo Samuel – I personally think Deebo Samuel will probably score more points than Amari Cooper this year. That's just my spicy take. But Amari Cooper did show some consistency last year with Jacoby Brissett.
He's been awesome his entire career. Like once he got out of the Raiders and moved over to Dallas, he's been awesome since then.
He's just not been consistent on a week-to-week basis.
He's like that kind of like Terry McLaurin, like wide receiver 2 range. Like with those blow-up weeks. Which, I mean, I feel like Deebo's similar. Like, I mean, I feel like the weekly floor is lower with Deebo than it is Amari.
But the ceiling's higher is kind of what I like more because we've seen Deebo Samuel finish as that top 5 wide receiver before. We know it's possible. And, all it takes, and I never wish for it, but all it takes is a CMC injury and all of a sudden Deebo Samuel's up to 5 to 7 rushing attempts a game. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, boom, he's super valuable in that offense again.
Yeah. So on this trade, with the third being involved, I will take the Deebo side, but I feel like this trade is closer, and it's one of those that it's given me a little bit of personal conflict because, like, in my mind and like on my rankings, I have Deebo a couple spots ahead of Amari. Okay. In a real dynasty league right now, like assuming I'm like a team that's competitive, if I had Amari Cooper and someone straight up offered me Deebo straight up, I think I'd have a hard time taking that. I mean, Amari was top 10 last year. I don't see the volume dropping off a ton this year.
He gets Deshaun Watson.
He gets Deshaun Watson for a full year. 2 years ago, Deebo, amazing. The year before that and last year, the 2 years surrounding that, not so great.
Can't stay healthy.
Amari's been better 2 of the 3 years there. And the 1 year that Deebo was better, like Amari was still really solid.
Yeah.
So I'm having a tough time with that one. I don't know if I'm anti-Deebo or pro-Amari on that one, but it's one of those where I'm looking at my rankings and I'm like, okay, I have Deebo ahead, but I don't know that I could pull the trigger if I was a competing team to make that trade for Amari for Deebo at this time.
Like that would also have been one of those ones where if you had Amari Cooper and somebody offered you just straight up Deebo Samuel, you're like,
I have to think.
Sorry. Yeah, you probably would have thought about it and been like, nah, sorry. And then he would have gone like, well, all right, what if I threw a third in there? All right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just crazy because Deebo was a top 5-6 guy 2 years ago, but
he was.
I don't know.
It was based on efficiency though, because he was scoring a touchdown every 7 touches.
And that's
which
been
is just stupid.
the 1 year he's been good in fantasy, right? Like it's like the 1 year he's been like really good. I don't know.
But I think he'll still be, as long as he can be healthy in that offense. That that offense is going to score points. I think he's going to get maybe 2 rushing touchdowns. I'd like to think like 6 to 8 receiving touchdowns and just a crap ton of yards.
Yeah, and that's what you're banking on if you're going that side with it for sure. So yeah, I think it's close. I think that's a very close trade. Like I said, with the third, I'll go the Debo side slightly.
You're getting 2 for 1 at that point.
I feel a little contradictory even just saying that because I'm not sure that in an actual league if I could practice what I'm doing there. Honestly, it's like one of those like do as I say, not as I do. Like I'll take the risk with Amari and just ride with my guy.
You are just getting like flat out younger though with the
Debo you're getting younger and the pick, yeah.
And you're somewhat, like still competitive getting Debo as well. Like it's not like you're trading him for like Odell Beckham Jr. You know what I mean? In a pick type of deal.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. That was a good trade. It's interesting the different variances we've had in these last 2 trades. Like where we're at on that. But
it's my redraft brain.
But I mean, honestly, that's good because in Dynasty, like I think one thing that's easy to do is you get like stuck in the cycle of you're always rebuilding and you're always just flipping for younger assets. At some point, you gotta win. Otherwise, what are you doing? You just
and at that point, if you're always rebuilding, you're always donating.
Exactly, you're just donating to the winner spot. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's good to have a little bit of a redraft line with it. But all right, last trade of the day we got here. So we're gonna bump up to 20 teams on this one. We got Superflex, half PPR. We got Jerry Jeudy for Treylon Burks, Khalil Shakur, and a 2024 fourth. So basically, I said the fourth is just kind of whatever. So it's Jerry Jeudy for Treylon Burks and Khalil Shakur. Which side you got here?
You don't really see like very many 20-team teams or just like, or 20-team leagues or like just 16-plus leagues.
Specifically, this is best ball too, I guess, if that changes.
Is it best ball?
This is the best ball league now that I'm thinking about that off the top of my
head. That actually does kind of like, I was already leaning the Treylon Burks, Shakur, and the 4th-round pick side just because like 20 teams, you are desperate just to have anybody on your team that's relevant.
Mm-hmm.
And you're getting Khalil Shakur, who was, a mid-round pick for the Bills, possible slot receiver this year for him. Treylon Burks, who's going to be, in the league for another probably, 10 years, we'd hope. Then you get younger again with the 4th-round pick. Even if it probably won't hit, but you still get a younger player that's possibly a bench player for
years. Or it's a trade chip to move up another round.
Exactly. Or it's even another trade asset to make another trade in the future, too.
Yeah.
So like I lean that side, but when you tell me best ball too, like you don't need to even, choose who's going for it. I mean, I think it's a clean sweep for the Treylon Burks side, but I get it because this guy, he wanted Jerry Jeudy. He straight up just wanted to get Jerry Jeudy. He didn't care what he had to give up at this point, but I still lean Treylon Burks and Shakur.
Okay. So on this one, I'm going the opposite way. I'm going to go the Jerry Jeudy
really?
Side this one. You look at what Jeudy did over the second half of the season last year. I mean, on a game basis, he was killing it. Of course, everybody knows they're bringing in Sean Payton this year. I think this trade comes down to like 2 things. Like, how do you feel about Russell Wilson, and then how do you feel about Treylon Burks? For me, I was a little bit lower on Burks when he was coming into the draft than pretty much a lot of people around me. He's talented. Falling into that Tennessee offense, I don't really see a way to him to even match like the AJ Brown production when he was there. I don't really see that happening. So I'll go the Jerry Jeudy side. I think best ball even or non-best ball even. I think I'll go the Jerry Jeudy side. It's kind of one of those where just kind of putting myself in my shoes there. If I'm looking to sell Jeudy, I think I could do better than Treylon Burks, honestly.
It sounds really weird what I'm about to say. Before Hopkins signed with the Titans, everybody was just so high on Treylon Burks. Breakout season, Treylon Burks. Breakout season, Treylon Burks. And it was like, you know what? Is it though? Because when we thought Juju Smith-Schuster was good alongside Antonio Brown, as soon as Antonio Brown left, we found out Juju was not who we thought he was. So Treylon Burks was going to be the number 1 guy. Would he be able to take the number 1 coverage and still be able to produce and have a breakout season was my concern.
Mm-hmm.
Now they get a guy like DeAndre Hopkins in there who's going to take most of the coverage away, who's going to give a little bit more of a relief to Treylon Burks in the passing game. for Tannehill. You know what I mean? And my biggest thing watching the Titans offense under Mike Vrabel the past couple of years, it's an offense that revolves around yak. Like A.J. Brown, the reason he was so good is because of his efficiency when he got the ball in his hands and he got a bunch of yak. Treylon Burks is a perfect example of a guy who can get a lot of yak, yards after the catch. So, like, just get him the ball, get out the way, and, you know, I do think Treylon Burks is actually going to do better because of the addition of Hopkins this year. As weird as that sounds, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's going to open up even more space for Burks to operate to get that yards after the catch.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know. I'll go Judy. I think I'm like thinking about it. I have a type, you know, Amari Cooper, Jerry Judy. I like those crisp route runners, man. I have a type. That's what I like on the outside, I guess.
Dude, and that's what you need in the NFL. Like, that is probably the one thing that gets overlooked the most for a wide receiver coming out of college. Like, he could be 6'6" and just a monster, but, like, how's his route running?
That's why I love Jordan Addison and Zay Flowers so much this year, too. I think that they're just going to be awesome. Like,
Zay Flowers is so twitchy, man. Mm-hmm. He's so twitchy, and I'm curious to see how that Todd Monken offense goes for Baltimore, man, because I think Lamar Jackson can sling that ball. I'm sure a lot of people don't.
It's weird. A lot of people think he can't throw the ball, which is just
like, did they never watch him in college in Louisville, like just fucking throwing that ball around? Like, it was a spread offense for Louisville. Like, there was a reason he won. Didn't he win the Heisman? There was a reason he won the Heisman.
Sure, yeah. Uh-huh.
So, like, he can throw the ball. It's just a matter of, like, that offense just didn't want to. It was such a prehistoric offense, and now it's going to be a futuristic offense.
That's what we're hoping, yeah. But, all right, man, that's going to do it. That's 10 trades here. Ended up going quite a bit longer than I wanted, but it felt
Sorry,
good.
Bud.
No, it was perfect. It felt
I got a lot on my mind.
Good conversation, yeah. I had a few rants I had to throw in there, too, but all right, man. Like, I mean, what else you got coming up? Like, where else can they find you? What else you got coming up here next few weeks? You know, football's right around the corner, so it's about to get busy.
Yeah, so I mean, this video is going to be coming out on the 5th of August. So we're going to be uploading this as soon as we get this, done and recorded. But then make sure you check us out on Monday. We're going Monday on the 7th, I believe. We're going live for a mock draft on Fantrax.
Yes, that's right. That one too.
Yeah, so I mean, we got four fans from our Discord joining us for that mock draft. So that's going to be a fun one.
Member.
So yeah,
if you
become a member, you can take part in all these fun, activities and these shenanigans we take part in. It's a lot of fun, and we're going to be doing a live stream, so make sure you check that out. Joe Bond's going to be on, our top 2 ranker, the guy we like to show off, and the founder of Fantasy Six Pack.
I guess he did that too, yeah.
But so yeah, make sure you check us out. That's going to be, somewhere around like 8 p.m. Eastern time on the 7th of August. So yeah, just check that out. It's going to be a blast. We're going to, bring in some F6P guests, they're going to give their thoughts on their pick, and, going into the draft.
There's been no plans of it, but I'm probably going to force my way in.
That's fine. I'll be the producer of that podcast. I'll let you in.
Perfect.
We'll work together here. I'll just sneak you in when they don't even expect it.
It'll be like, whoa, shit, especially that.
wait, Jordan's got some thoughts.
Exactly.
But yeah, make sure you check that out, because that's going to be a grand old time. Other than that, just check out the YouTube channel, like and subscribe, hit that, bell up top if you want to get notified whenever we have videos coming out, because we got ones coming out at least every day, if not every other day. How about you, Jordan?
Well, let's see here. So just got a full rankings update. So over on the website, if you become a member, you get access to my full Dynasty rankings. Got super flex, 1 quarterback, brand new set of rookies, overall ranks. So just got a whole fresh update there. We're going to be coming weekly after next week. So we'll be at the expo, like we mentioned, next week. But then following that next week, I'll be back here on this show weekly. So I believe it'll be coming out either every Tuesday, either Monday night or Tuesday. Every week I'll have my show coming out here. So we'll have that going on here about 2 weeks. And then from there, it's just going to be just kind of consistently doing this. I'll try and have like one to 2 columns. I'll try and get out a week in the season, just some dynasty tips. And then just kind of filling in here where I'm needed the rest of the way. But just kind of enjoying this like last like kind of week of calm before we really kind of ramp
before
up
the storm.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Just yeah.
I'm excited for the
Time of
drafts.
the year, man. I can't wait, man.
I'm excited for all my redraft drafts.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't even done a redraft. I've done like one best ball redraft, so we haven't even hit that time of the year yet. So I mean, it's just yeah, we're like a week away from the best time of the year, man. I can't wait.
Oh, it's gonna be a blast, man. I
Absolutely.
pray no injuries, please.
Absolutely. But all right, man. Well, I'll let you get out of here. I won't take up any more of your Saturday night, but I appreciate you hopping on here.
Thanks
And
for
yeah, like I
having me.
said, yeah, man, anytime. And like I said, probably no show next week. May sneak one in there before I go, but most likely will be 2 weeks out. And then from there, we'll be here every single week. So tune back in, and we've got all your Dynasty stuff covered here. Awesome. You guys have a good night.
Have a good one.